approach. Victoria School District, they go with whatever the CRD is offering, and they are offering a different program. We are going through, as I mentioned, a redevelopment where we're going to be looking at the whole curriculum itself. We're bringing in a whole new program developer to look at the curriculum, bring it more to the Ministry of Education standards for sustainability. That's sort of new. And so we hope that we will be able to work again through the CRD. At one point we did. They did decide to go with a different program this year, therefore we are not in the Victoria School District. Yes.
Councillor Plant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the applicant. You say to deliver by May 2016. Again, you probably heard throughout the evening that some of these funds will not be, well, they won't be available to us. So is it more likely that these will be applied to next year?
Yes, now that that was brought up, what will probably happen is we will deliver in the fall of 2016, and so therefore the students would actually participate in our new program. With that new program, rather than having a sort of paper take-home contest, that's what they currently use, we're looking into developing some sort of online app, something that speaks more to young people today, which is also another opportunity for us to provide resources for municipalities that they do have for young people as well. So we do expect that to be 2016 fall at this point.
That makes sense to me. The other component is, of course, our municipality borders on 2 school districts.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering if you would be open to doing these for the Victoria School District, even if only the municipality of Saanich is a contributor, because we have several elementary schools in Saanich that are in the Victoria District.
Well, and we're more than willing to do that. I mean, we do have only the 9 that we will be able to do. What we do is we contact the administration, usually through the principal and any teachers that we know that are really keen on the project, and we start from there trying to book. Those teachers also put us in contact with additional ones. So if it's a matter of being able to work through other schools, like you're saying, with more closely to the Victoria District, that's not a problem. We're more than happy to do that as well. It's more of who is interested in participating in the program, and then we go on that way.
So then I guess the question I would pose to you is, why is the Saanich School District being seen as the only district?
Well, it's really that we're looking for the municipality's funding. Whether or not that also goes into the other district, it's a matter of, we have the 9 workshops. We will start with, say, Lochside, Prospect Lake, Cordova Bay, Royal Oak Middle School, because we know for sure those are ones within the Saanich district that we can work with. The other ones, if we kind of fall short, we will continue on. It is unfortunate we can only do 9, so we kind of have to pick and choose.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Any more questions? We deliver the other one.
Thank you for your time.
There's a second grant application here.
Oh, that is for, yes, I as administrative director, I do put through the applications, and that's for our Victoria chapter.
Okay.
Hello.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Atwell and councillors. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Tom Hackney, and I represent the Victoria chapter of the BC Sustainable Energy Association, of which Renee just gave a presentation on the Climate Change Showdown. So the Victoria chapter has been active since the start of the BC SEA back in 2004. And our area of action is the Capital Region District, or the area of it. And some of our members live here in Saanich. Our chapter's activities have typically focused on public outreach and education. For example, staging the Changing Gears event in 2014, which showcased for CRD residents a whole spectrum of non-fossil fuel transportation modes. And last year, during the federal election, we increased our level of activity and public engagement by staging 5 candidates' debates in the CRD area on energy and climate issues, attracting some 1,700 members of the public to listen to the debates. So this year, we were inspired by the City of Vancouver's Renewable City Strategy with its 100% renewable energy by 2050 goal. And we decided to seek similar commitments from municipalities in our area. and this has led to the current sustainability grant application to the District of Saanich. Now, this presupposes that Saanich would potentially be interested in investigating the feasibility of going to a 100% renewable energy goal. And that means for the whole municipality, not simply the municipal operations. We propose to create a report for Saanich that would outline a pathway toward a 100% renewable energy goal, including the actions required, so the political actions and the practical actions, and a timeline. This would include a suitable definition of what 100% renewable energy means, and some numerical analysis from the Community Energy and Emissions Inventory. It would also include some proposed solutions, renewable energy solutions. And we would also stage a town hall meeting in Saanich featuring City of Vancouver staff, subject to availability, who could speak to the Vancouver's plan. I think I'm out of time, is that correct?
Keep going.
Well, simply that we believe this is a very timely application given events in the world today. And we believe this would supplement and be a logical next step for the actions that Saanich has already taken in its municipal operations, sustainable energy, and also for the work that Saanich has done on climate change mitigation and adaptation. And I should have also mentioned that we are speaking to your Environment Committee and proposing to bring forward suggestions for resolutions that the city could adopt for investigating a 100% renewable energy strategy. So thank you for your time, and open for questions.
Thank you, Councilor Platt.
Thank you. My question would be, who is going to actually do the writing and the research? Is it members of the SEA, or is there members that you could identify tonight in advance of us making our decision?
Actually, I would propose myself to be the writer. I was involved with the steering committee in planning this. I'm the policy director for the BC Sustainable Energy Association, and I think I'm qualified and I'm certainly dedicated to the project.
So just looking at your timeline, the report would be to us by August, and you'd look to have a meeting in September or October.
That's correct, yes.
And 100 hours is clearly, you feel that's adequate for such a report. Is it in many regards just looking at what Vancouver's done and adapting it for Saanich?
I think this would be a miniature version of the Vancouver report, and not attempting to duplicate all the research done over years and engagement of hundreds of people, but certainly taking the framework and the emissions inventory, which identifies where the emissions come from, and making an outline of what the steps would need to be.
So final question for me, if this grant is not received, is this going to proceed?
Not in this form, no. I think we need to have a commitment from Saanich that it would value such a report. Certainly we would proceed to invite Saanich to support such a goal, but to do work of this kind, I think we need a kind of token of interest from the municipality that this kind of research would be valued.
I guess I would actually like to ask a question, Mr. Mayor, of our sustainability manager, Mr. Boyson, if he's in the room, or director of planning. I'm not sure which is the best way to go. I'm just curious to know if he feels this.
Mark, could you come up and just Sit here, please.
Sorry, Mr. Hackney, to make you have to share the space, but I'm just curious, do you feel this aligns with these pathways that we're going on as a municipality within our strategic plan, or this is work, for example, I mean, I would be hard pressed to say this is already being done, but is this duplication, or would this be new information for the municipality in your mind?
The one thing I can say is, I guess I don't want to be passing judgment on the application and move that to council, but I think for the work that we're doing right now, we do have it in our strategic plan to investigate 100% renewable municipal buildings, the feasibility of that by 2025. So that is in our work plan, so we are looking at that, but it's not at a community level. So the idea initially was to put our toe in the water, so to speak, to sort of look at the opportunities and then spread it out from there. So, but we weren't going to include a look at the community side of things, and that's why I think the proposal is from the BCSC.
Good to know, thank you.
Councillor Workman and then Durham.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to make a comment maybe to myself. I think we have to be maybe careful about having staff come up and comment on a presentation. I think there's a time and a place, and I'm not sure tonight is the time. It's just a thought I do have. Thank you.
Councillor Durham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you to the applicant. I'm presuming that this would essentially be designed to be a starting point for establishing the discussion in Saanich, and then from the discussion hopefully timeframes and action.
Yes, I believe that would be the case.
Thank you. My own view is that we are long past the time that this should be done. I'll leave that to council later.
Question, Councillor Haynes.
Just a point of clarification, if I may. The benefit to Saanich would be A, the development of a plan for the logical extension of Saanich's current work on 100% renewable energy municipal buildings. So, Mr. Boyd, you mentioned that we already have the Saanich piece, the municipal piece. So is this going to engage the community at large?
The town hall component would certainly be a first step toward engaging the community.
Would the engagement be focused on encouraging the community at large towards zero emissions? Or is that to inform the community about the activities that you've identified for the municipality?
It would be primarily to inform the community that that this is something that the municipality was thinking of taking on.
I understand. Thank you for that clarification.
Councillor Durham.
Thank you. Just a follow-up to Councillor Haynes' questions. I'm assuming this is to establish a framework for what it would take to, and what kinds of broad initiatives would be required in order to accomplish 100% in the community at large, as opposed to Saanich's operations.
Yes, that's correct. So roughly speaking, you have buildings, you have transportation, and you have waste. And each one of those has their own particular forms of emissions and their own energy needs, and there are different potential solutions for each one of them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any more questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to our next section, neighborhood match program grants. It's an introduction from our Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you stated, the next section of the match project grant applications, there's only one application for that.
Is the representative from the Fortress Foundation?
Just seeing if I could change up the game a little bit and turn on the computer, but I don't know if it's going to work. No, it's not. It's locked. I did have a digital presentation for you. Nice to see you.
Did you send us in advance?
No, I didn't. I was just bringing it up on Wi-Fi like I did last time. Nice to see you guys again, though. I'm Joel from the Fortress Foundation, Mayor and Council. I was here on February 22nd with a delegation and a presentation on an action plan to implement preventative measures for all forms of gender-based violence. and with a specific focus on sexual assault, sexual exploitation, and human trafficking. And today I am here to talk to you about a grant request for $3,000 to support the post-production of a film that we have been in production of for the last 3 years. And we are ready to release it soon in partnership with you, potentially. So we're seeking $3,000 in match funding to support a program in partnership with BC's Office to Combat Trafficking in Persons to prevent sexual exploitation and human trafficking through the production of the short film in question here, Aspirations. The film weaves the narrative of First Nations youth who's subject to sexual exploitation through debt bonding, drinking, trauma bonding, and other forms of manipulation and grooming tactics. And we're seeking partnership with you as the film was shot in this community and has engaged over 150 local volunteers, many of which were Saanich residents and youth. And the program will enhance awareness and education while preventing the frequency of sexually exploitative behavior. We have a strong focus and component of modern learning through digital media. So that's why I wanted to show you guys a movie so we could sit back and just kind of watch it. But I'll just talk to you now instead and just talk to you about sort of the mandate of our organization, which we've clearly expressed. When I was here previously, we talked about the problem and exposed a lot of the behaviors and things that are making major headlines in the news today around exploitative behaviors. We have a lot of sexual assault and a lot of things that are happening in our community that draw this issue to the forefront of many of our minds. And I believe that it's time as council, as community, and as citizens to address this issue, and that's why we at the Fortress Foundation are dedicated to doing this work. We commend you on the work that you are doing and your resolutions that you've brought forward at UBCM on human trafficking, B53, powerful resolution, and we are very happy that you are very proactive in this area. And we just want to expand that partnership and ask you to activate upon that resolution and support us. One thing I do want to bring up is in our application there, you'll notice that we are looking to do a release of this film near the end of April. That is when it is due for the BC's Office to Combat Trafficking in Persons. On the 31st is when our final report is due. And we've mentioned at a number of the applicants tonight have maybe got that timeline wrong, and so did I. The deliverable, we're actually asking for an extension from them as well, and that extension is going to allow us to bring in more powerful, mostly in the area of sound design and scoring. So the application for the $3,000 in the post-production process that we would request from Saanich would go towards that, and we use local artists and local talent to create that scoring and sound design for the film. So we will release early and show the film on May 5th for the first time in a private setting. You're all welcome to come. That's an invite. And after that, when the funding comes out, we will look to rescore and to do a better sound design for the film with the finances. Thank you.
Questions from councillors? See that? All right, thank you very much. Okay. Councillor Newman.
Oh, one there. Okay.
No, this is not this application, which I think is admirable. Simply, just to mention the council as a whole, I think we have one very good application here, in my view, but we only have one. And I think we need to look at this program and see why we don't have one. The program was modeled after a program in Seattle that literally had huge projects right across the community. We started out with quite a number of projects and seems to have greatly dwindled and is not engaging all the people that we would like to engage. So I hope that we do take a look at that and ask ourselves how we can revitalize this particular program. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Will staff make note of that? Councillor Platt?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just following up on Councillor Dermott's comments, maybe I could ask of staff, what is the budget line for the neighborhood match project grants, please?
Best estimate is $7,000.
Thank you.
Any more questions from staff? All right. Thank you so much. Now move on to the next section, C, community grant presentations. Ms. Tierney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As stated, the next section are the community or social service operating grant applications. These are provided to nonprofit organizations needing assistance to enhance their ability to address community or social issues, or to provide access to appropriate community services that directly benefit the Sandwich community. There is a total of 32 applicants, 22 are returning and 10 are new. And again, we're in north alphabetical order.
All right, thank you. Our first applicant, the Victoria Brain Injury Society.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and thank you so much for your time this evening. My name is Chrissy Spinoza. I'm the Executive Director of Victoria Brain Injury Society. We're a society, a non-profit organisation that's been helping brain injury survivors and their families since 1983. Brain injury has many causes. It could be caused by a stroke, a car accident, a tumour. Many different incidents can cause a brain injury, sadly. And when it happens, it can change people's lives like that. You already heard Jeff mention tonight from the Cridge how many people can end up homeless, lacking in work after a brain injury. And I want you to imagine if you were to experience a brain injury, how it would feel the next day. You would have difficulties with memory. Maybe you'd struggle with light and sound sensitivity. Perhaps you struggle to walk. Maybe you have difficulties planning things. And in that sort of circumstance, many people can have difficulty accessing the services they so vitally need. And that's why I'm here tonight. We estimate that there's about 1,300 brain injury survivors in Sandwich. And at the moment we have 100 active clients from your district. That compares to 400 active clients from Victoria. So we're thinking that there's a barrier here, and we want to take that barrier away, and we're asking for your help. What we want to do is offer a bi-weekly case management support service on a drop-in basis in Sandwich. And we think that that could help people because they'll no longer have to face a difficult bus ride or an expensive taxi journey. They'll no longer have to walk and try and plan, what's my route, how do I get to this place that can offer me help. We anticipate we'll be able to help 30 brain injury survivors over the course of that year. That's in addition to the brain injury survivors we already see at our office. We've been very lucky in that Silver Threads have offered to work with us on this and said that they would donate the space to us, which is wonderful. It's fantastic that we can work in partnership with a great organisation in this area. And we've been monitoring the project on an ongoing basis and evaluating it on an ongoing basis and feeding back to your staff how it's working. And if it's not working, we'd be tweaking it. We're really concerned. We want to reach those 30 brain injury survivors. We want to reach as many brain injury survivors in Sandwich as possible. And so you know that you can invest this money knowing that it's going to be used in the best way possible. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm open to any questions you might have.
Questions from council? Not seeing any. All right, thank you very much. I'd like to invite the Victoria Advanced Technology Council representative tonight. Is there a rep from the Victoria Advanced Technology Council here tonight? Let's move on to the next one, Victoria and Vancouver. Councilor Dermott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you. I was just wondering if, I was going to ask staff, we've had calls in other years where somebody who received a grant and is kind of an ongoing grant has not requested any increase. In other years, we have told them they need not appear. Is that the same thing today?
Thank you through the mayor to Councillor German. The indication that's given to any applicant is that it's their choice to appear. We don't recommend one way or another to them, but that they have the opportunity and it is their choice.
Okay, I do want to point out that in other years, we specifically identified to applicants that they need not appear if they weren't asking for an increased grant. So it's quite possible that some are still under that assumption. Thank you.
Councillor Berglund?
Maybe just picking up on that, I wonder if we could clarify it. If they tell a group they need not appear, is that telling them they do get the grant?
Through the mayor to Councillor Wortland, we do not tell them not to appear. We tell them that it is their choice to appear.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on. I'd like to invite the representative from the Victorian Bank for Island Green Community Society up to the microphone if they're here.
Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Yanis Papidakis and I am here on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Victorian Greater Vancouver Island Greek Community. The Greek community would like to reach out and talk about a great community festival, the Greek Fest. We would like to ask you for your assistance in organizing the 15th annual Greek Fest, which is planned to run during the last weekend of the following, this upcoming August and the first weekend of September. In recent years, the Victoria and Vancouver Island Greek community has been organizing numerous cultural events, which have been very well attended by thousands of people from Saanich and other areas. The Greek Festival has become a major Greater Victoria cultural event and over the years has gained more and more popularity. Now that the Folkfest is not held anymore in Victoria, the Greek Fest has become the major multicultural event in Lower Vancouver Island. What do we do for the community? We do give back to the community in various ways. Since 2009, we have partnered with the Saanich Fire Department to raise funds for the Tillicum School Hot Lunch program. Each year, not only do we offer one free meal to the entire school, we also contribute over $3,000 to this vital program for children. And this is in addition to the other local charities that we support throughout the year, with funds that we raise mainly during Greek Fest. The expenses associated with setting up the Greek Fest, including entertainment and volunteer-related expenses, are tremendous, and it is a massive challenge for our small Greek community. A detailed budget for the 2016 festival is included in your package, in the package we have provided. The Greek community is contributing $55,000 towards this year's Greek Fest. The funds required to put on a festival of this size and scope are extremely difficult to raise. We require a great deal of community fundraising and help from all our local partners. We are asking for a $5,000 grant for the municipality of Saanich that will be used towards all expenses associated with the entertainment component for the 2016 Greek Fest. This fund helps us sponsor and facilitate many of our international and cultural dance groups, some of which travel from as far away as Greece to perform. Dear Mr. Mayor, members of the Council, we are hopeful that the Saanich Council will continue to support Greek Fest with funding. With your help, our community is determined to preserve and enhance this popular and important cultural event that is based in our municipality. Thank you very much.
Any questions from Council? Seeing none? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next up is the Vancouver Island South Film and Media Commission.
Good evening, Mayor, Atwell, and Council. My name is Brian Globus. I'm the Office and Locations Coordinator for the Vancouver Island South Film and Media Commission. Kathleen Gilbert, the film commissioner, regrets that she can't be here. She is sick with the flu, so she has asked me to speak on her behalf. First of all, we would like to, on behalf of our board of directors, staff, and 160-plus members, we would like to thank the District of Saanich, its citizens and businesses, for its continued support of film production. Saanich continues to invest strongly in the growth of the film industry on the South Island, its grant funding, policies, and willingness to work with productions. And this has produced measurable results. 2015 was a record-breaking year for film production, with over 20 productions choosing Greater Victoria as their primary location, from which an estimated $18 million was spent locally on hotels, restaurants, rentals, building supplies, parking, permit and location fees, and most importantly, wages. This was the first time in years that hundreds of local crew were able to stay in Victoria for the entire year to practice their trade. Many more had an opportunity to start a new and exciting career in the industry. Just a few of the notable productions from 2015 feature films The Boy, Monkey Up, Girl in the Photograph, and Pup Star. Television movies Perfect High, Playdate, Gourmet Detective 2, Unreal, Hell on Wheels, Just in Time for Christmas, Signed, Sealed, and Delivered, Stranger in the House, the list goes on. We regularly sent out Saanich locations. 10 Mile Point in Saanich has been a popular location this year with productions. We had a feature film and a television movie of the week filmed in that area. Not only are we focused on attracting productions to the district, we also work on developing the local crew and business infrastructure so that our region becomes its own production industry, as well as a preferred filming destination. Last year we held